Hey guys, welcome to the MC Anime Podcast. We cover anime, geek culture, Japanese aesthetics, and Asian studies. We are a multi-fandom podcast, and you can expect to hear topics in your favorite hobby or fandom activity potentially. You can find MC Anime on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Also, please check out mcanimepodcast.com, our website. Furthermore, stay tuned in for another episode.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of MC Anime. I'm MC Anime, and today I'm with another special guest with us today is Xilenced. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, man. For you guys who don't know who I am a YGO streamer. I stream a whole lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! I stream other games as well, but the primary game is Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm a competitive player, I have quite a bit of tops, and yeah, that's me.
And where can they find you typically?
Usually on Twitch. If you want to come check me out, definitely come check me out at Xilenced Games. That's usually my Twitch channel, and yeah, you can check out my stuff there.
Alright. And if they want to do like a community type thing, where will they do that? Find that for you?
You can check out my Discord. There might be a link in the description below or whatever. But that's usually where I have most of my community chats and stuff.
Gotcha. So, balancing your life as a streamer and dedicating yourself to the competitive Yu-Gi-Oh scene, how does that typically play out?
Well, as a streamer, I get to do a lot of that, mostly on stream, which is super cool. I do work and I do other stuff as well, so I do have to balance my social life and stuff, which is fine. But for the most part, I do most of my competitive stuff. Usually when I'm playing like ranked ladder, I'll go ahead and I'll stream that. And then with Master Duel that just came out, I do a lot of ladder with that as well. Sometimes we'll do it with friends. I don't usually stream my tournaments. I know a lot of streamers do that, but I tend to keep that off just because I don't really want people to know what deck I'm playing and stuff like that, right?
Like exclusive content. You want them to have fun. If you put the profile or the replay, it kind of just defeats the purpose of the exclusiveness associated with it, because it's for whatever Discord server or online tournament you're hosting at the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Master Duel, I have mixed emotions about Master Duel.
I do as well.
I don't like, the ban list is weird. It's this compact of the OCG and TCG. Maxi's legal. Skill drain's fine, but all these other floodgates and I don't know. It has weird ratios, and then everyone is just playing the same cards. It's literally almost like OCG, but like the card pool is so divergent in different lines of what TCG, and I think some of the banners of World tournaments. I'm not sure.
Yes, I think it's a previous OCG list. I think it's like an updated OCG list from one of the Worlds lists that was a while ago. I remember somebody explained it to me. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting format. I think it's fun in the way that it's new and refreshing. It's not something that we always get to do. But as far as competitive goes, there's a lot of broken stuff that isn't addressed yet. Like there's Rongo Miniad, which is still legal, which is an insane card.
Rongo.
Exactly, yeah.
That card came out was like, the only card to affect it was some quick play spell card that made you detach materials from it. But it didn't affect the monster, it affected the player. It was so weird.
Yep.
That was the only out they had back then. The Kaijus wasn't invented, so like getting rid of the dang thing.
Well, you can't even out it with a Kaiju because it locks you from special summoning or normal summoning monsters. So
you had the Kaiju option. It's just like, well, it's a floodgate plus destroying cards in the field. You can't do nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And
I believe it can't be destroyed by battle either.
Right.
It can be destroyed by battle. It has some effect to destroy everything on the field.
I think it can't be destroyed by battle. It has like 5 effects, but either way, I mean, it has like 3k attack, and you can't summon anything. So good luck destroying it by battle, right?
I don't know. Bongo Bongo is a format that I don't know. On the field, especially Warrior, that was the best toolbox you can use to spam Longo.
Yeah, right now people use the Phantom Engine for it, at least on Master Duel, and it's really consistent. Besides that, there's like stuff like True Kings of All Calamities, there's Vanity's Emptiness, which is like one of those floodgates you were talking about, and I don't know, it's just a lot of crazy stuff. It's definitely a pretty broken format, but because it's not as competitive, just because it's a newer and the ban list is kind of weird, it's okay for what it is. Yeah,
I don't know. Only having one-on-one battling is also gimmicky too. That's typically how they do it in, like, I believe it's world format?
Yes, it's a worlds format, and it's also singles as well, so it's like it's side deck at all, which is a little unfortunate. I know a lot of tournaments do end up doing side decking, but for the most part.
Yeah, most tournaments do like some weird option where they host like 3 games, get in the duel room because it's already pre-generated. But you change decks before they go in the next duel, so it's not really side decking.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I think the incentivizing of gems and opening packs, these packs have nothing to do with the current packs that we have in the TCG or OCG.
Yeah, I think that's kind of cool. I think it's cool that they have something for you to work towards so you can just unlock cards and stuff like that. I do think that it needs a little bit of restructuring, especially like the legacy packs. The legacy packs are just terrible cards, and I think that they definitely need to make that a little bit more. Oh, they should just let you disenchant those, to be honest. But I understand why they don't do that, because they're trying to make money and trying to make you buy gems and packs and stuff like that. But
yeah,
at least make some playable cards in there.
Competitively, if you grind enough, you'll be able to play pretty much free, and people have figured out the recipe for the best strategy when you're first dueling. And secret packs are the ones to open, because those will unlock all the decks you want to play.
Exactly, right. That's what you want to do. You want to make sure you find what cards you're looking for, and then find what secret packs they're in, and then go ahead and go from there to just unlocking those specific secret packs.
Yeah. At first I thought the microtransactions were like super bad, but they're actually really decent compared to where I thought they would be. Because you buy more gems. That's all it is. It's custom avatar, custom sleeves or whatever.
Yep. I think there could be more customization, for sure. I think that there should be like more titles. I know that they're going to be making more maps and stuff like that, which is going to be super cool. But I think that they definitely could do a little bit more with that.
Yeah, when it first came out, streamers were like all the time, grinding and not getting any sleep.
Yeah.
Were you one?
Yeah, I wasn't really one of those people. I was and wasn't. I was one of the first people to hit Plat 1. I can't really verify whether I was the first or not, but I definitely was one of the first for sure. I hit it within like 3 hours. Plat 1's the max rank, if you guys didn't know. And I don't know, like I did it pretty easily just because I'm one of the top like dueling book players as well. Like I'm usually top 10 on dueling book whenever I play ladder and stuff like that. But I still think that I don't know, the game was super cool when it came out. It was very flashy, it was nice. We were stoked to have our first simulator. There was going to be like world sport and stuff like that, but I think now that the hype died down a little bit, and the flaws are really starting to show.
But people will still use it, and probably will still be using it for a long time.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that for what it is, it's pretty good.
I think Konami did pretty good trying to acknowledge it as a separate event, rather than trying to like make it like TCG only or OCG in that case. So it would probably bring more hype and also a little bit of the crowd from Dueling Links.
Mm-hmm.
But you know,
yeah, Duel Links meta got really, really popular on Master Duel. Like he had a really insane viewership. I was watching some of his stuff, and that's pretty cool.
So which deck were you using when you first got Platinum?
Well, I heard that we had triple Ben 10, legal Cyber Eagle Ben 10. Yeah, so I definitely played Drytron, but I also heard that Grass Looks Greener was legal, and I wanted to try 60-card Drytron, so I crafted that first, because that seemed like a really cool idea.
Drytron? What the?
Yeah. Because Grass is a really crazy card, and it's no legal too.
For anyone that doesn't know what Grass Looks Greener, it basically synergizes deck building to do 60 cards, and a lot of times they will just cram whatever random archetype, whether it was Tri-Brigade, Snow, Lost Vision, they even put like, I don't know, it was like some weird posh of decks. They'll always be guaranteed some combo of something related to it if they do it. And also it enables grave effects too.
Mm-hmm. Basically milled your deck to the insane amount as your opponent's deck, which if you had 60 cards, most people play 40-card decks or somewhere around 40 cards, and you would just mill like 20 cards from your deck, and that would just be pretty crazy, since all your cards had like graveyard effects.
And you will specifically make your deck to meet the demand. And you're guaranteed to hit something. Now what you hit was all random, but you did spin up the deck a lot. So, 60-card Dytron, what do you put? Like a bunch of... I mean, of course you put a bunch of Dytron names, but was there any grave effects that... Well, other than the spell to get back?
I put in Snow, just because I felt like Fairy Tale Snow was an insane card. Besides that, it was just like basic ritual stuff. I have a ritual combo that I like to play. I don't know if it's the most competitive. I wouldn't say that it is, but I think it's very fun, and I consider Master Duel pretty casual, so I was like, let's just do it like this way. And the combo that I used basically used Dishki Gust Kraken to like hand loop all of their opponent's cards in your hand.
A hand loop. Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
And anyone that doesn't know, that's an old hand loop that just recently is enabled now because it gets got off the ban list at I believe from 1 to unlimited. But during a particular time, it was a gimmicky deck that said, "Oh, this is not a once per turn effect to get rid of a card in the hand." Basically, you started with no cards in hand, and one card is very few times enough during that format specifically to make a comeback. One card now, yes, there was an argument that said that one card combination can still work. But back then, that was actually more powerful.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to come back even now just because you end on a Herald of Ultimate as well, so you have a negate for whatever they draw, but still.
Oh, well, that sounds pretty fun. You know, that's what Master has enabled. Dice one with a flipping hand loop, and oh gosh. I can't.
Yeah, fun for me, not so much for my opponents, but that's okay.
Yeah, because you can recycle at least, let's see, you can recycle the ritual spell Draganus, which is the Nitron. That can... you can at least get it, use it twice, you search it, and then you can also recycle it through, what's it, Cyber Angel, not Natasha, but the other one.
The Idaten?
Yeah. Idaten, yeah. There's like a combo, you can do that too, and other stuff. And also, if you draw Preparation of Rites, you can also recover it that way if you used it.
Yep. There's a combo that I use as well. The main enabler that starts off the combo is Diviner of the Heralds, right? And that sends a Herald of the Arclight, which basically searches like any ritual spell or monster from your deck to your hand. And what I do is I make Insector Exabeetle to attach it from the graveyard, the Arclight from the graveyard that I've already sent to the graveyard.
Oh,
and then I link it off.
Twice.
Yeah, so you can trigger it twice, which is pretty cool.
Interesting. Okay. Oh yeah, because isn't Arcbeetle like a level 1 XYZ monster?
It's a level 6, which is really easy to
okay, it's a level 6. Just like they were in Beatrice and all that stuff.
Yep.
Okay. That's interesting. So you replaced Beatrice in that combo specifically for all the searching you needed. So you want another way to trigger it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. That makes sense. So which decks are you doing now or have done in the past with your streaming?
There's been a bunch. I think the one that I'm mainly known for is Subterrors. Subterror Guru Control was the big one. When that came to the TCG, a lot of people underrated the deck. Like, they thought it was cool, like, maybe the first week, but then after they were playtesting that, because it was, like, in Salamangreat and Orcus format, it turned out to not be that great for other people. But I was able to get top 20, I think it was, on Dueling Book with it, which is pretty impressive.
I believe, were you using, like, the Guru, it was Guru Control, and recently, Red Eyes Fusion and Dragoon were added, but most of them are still in the floodgates. Like, there can only be one summon limit, maybe some items and all that stuff. And Guru is in the gate itself if you search Venus. And
exactly.
Really the main combo anyway.
Back then, we didn't have, like, Red Eyes Fusion or anything like that, so we had to, like, I actually ended up using a couple of different interesting stuff. So for the most part, it was floodgates, right? Like, there can only be one was super big. But I ended up using, like, there was a Thunder Dragon combo, because one of the Subterror monsters was a Thunder Dragon. Not a Thunder Dragon, but a Thunder monster. Yeah. That you could activate from the hand to make Colossus. And that was a pretty cool combo for the matchups that are kind of bad for you.
Because you have pop a card in the field if you discard a Thunder. I mean, it really has good synergy in that way.
Right, yeah, it was the other one, though. It was Colossus before it got banned. The one that, like,
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Anyone that doesn't know what Colossus, it's literally cards cannot be added from the main deck except by drawing. That's a simple effect, but it locks you out of it, and there's a hand trap. Draw and lock board that does the same thing, but it requires a trigger activation of adding a card from the main deck to the hand.
Exactly.
So yeah, most combo decks like to search all the combo pieces, and most of the time they don't draw those pieces, they search those pieces. So add to the hand is pretty common.
Yep, exactly.
And also, like, I think sometimes milling to the grave and then add to hand also counts as well, or something.
Right, yeah. If you can mill from your hand to the graveyard and stuff like that, they can definitely do that to play around it, if you can play around it.
Oh, set directly from the deck, and it'll activate directly from deck.
Right, stuff like that.
Oh boy. Activating directly from the deck, when I think also a very strong engine for Guru that actually had it before it got banned was also Numeron and Zexal as well.
Yeah, I played a little bit of that. I have a top with a 60 card like Guru list, and it was very interesting. They used to call it Planetary Guru. Basically, it was just like the cluster of Guru in it. You had it was like a pile deck, right? So you had like Guru in it, you had Numeron, you had Red Eyes. You had, I think there there was one point where I was playing Dogmatica in it, but I think I took that out and replaced it with the generator engine, and then you just ran like a bunch of hand traps and go second cards and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And then if anyone doesn't know, you can summon under Guru because it's a flip summon. And it restricts, after you activate Numeron Network, to send whatever calling to the grave to copy the effect or activate from hand, you're locked out from special summoning. Guru doesn't care. It just use the normal summon for the set and flip. If they have Hidden City, and get in the gate to protect F0 Zexal, which basically is another floodgate that is just allows you not to play the game. You can't activate any effects for this turn.
Yeah, it's a pretty strong floodgate. It's definitely deserved its ban for sure.
And the search that you got on Guru also protected it, plus any backup you drew as well.
Yep.
So yeah, it was a really good combination. I also did it with Zexal with Generator. It was also really good too, because the relation of the field spells the synergy was great.
Yeah, definitely. In the 60-card Guru list that I played that I got the top with, we added a generator engine into it because, like you said, it's definitely really good.
I don't know. People always fault on Guru as a monkey deck. But, the deck is specifically control. In most lists it's played. There is some combo Guru decks, but typically those have to rely on a bunch of flipping effects to get the combos going.
Right, there hasn't been a combo Subterra deck since Level Leader was a thing. I think that's been meta relevant. It used to be way back then when Firewall was crazy and all that stuff.
Just spam Firewall and then get unlimited bounces if they have basically bouncing cards if a card points to that zone. I don't know. They keep designing cards that get overly busted. It was the first YGO Ace monsters that get banned, which is kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What's your feelings on ban lists throughout the years?
I think, some of them have been really good and some of them have been really bad. We definitely had our fair share of good and bad ban lists. I think the most recent one, I didn't personally like this most recent one because I feel like they forgot Scythe. Artifact Scythe was something that was really, really good, and it's now probably the strongest deck in the current format with Brave tokens coming out and being with PK Fan Knights and stuff like that. Yeah. That's a really, really strong deck, and I am a little upset that they didn't have the foresight to ban Scythe. But it is what it is.
Well, Scythe is a one-ton floodgate, but it's so easily triggered by Destiny Enforcer.
Yeah, exactly. And because it's so easily triggerable, and then you always end with multiple Fog Blades and usually some other negations like an Appaloosa or something next to it.
Fog Blade, if you negate DP, can still trigger with Rusty.
Yep.
I mean, okay. I think Scythe is probably more better when, even if Dagger was a thing, not much, it was very gimmicky. It wasn't much a big payoff, as now you have Verde Anaconda and Dagmon playing basically 4 monsters. You only really need 4 monsters on the field to do it.
Yep, exactly.
Which is pretty easy.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I don't know. Scythe stopped playing hat format, so now it's coming back because it's just one of those floodgates that keeps recurring itself. It's Sorcerer and Dytron. It's gimmicky. Well, actually, it's not too gimmicky because they're just running the DPE engine since they used to run Dragoon.
Exactly, it's the same thing as before.
I don't know. Scythe is too searchable now. You know, when hat format hat, you have limited access like Sanctum. You pay a bunch of bricks, trap trick, maybe to get another 4th copy or 5th copy, and maybe Ignition to target a card to set from deck.
Yeah, if you read it, it was probably just Sanctum, but you could definitely do Ignition.
Easy ways to do it, but like it activates. It has to be activated during your opponent's turn to be special summoned. So, which is not hard because all you have to do is put it in the graveyard, like Forest Burial, call the Haunted. You had an easy combo that way because hat format loved doing that too.
Exactly.
Scythe is too easy to make, and you can still do your full combo and end on that. And then you have like Hockey Fibrax combo with the floor, and get an extra negate while triggering Scythe and having 1-1 Magician. It's just, I don't like the card. It's poor design choice, and it's just tearing up the format.
Yep, I agree. I think that it's very, very, very powerful, and I think like the worst part about it is that the only way to not lose to Scythe is you have to play a deck that doesn't rely on the extra deck, and that's not very fun for anybody else either.
Can you draw the one of Club of the Grave or Droplets?
Yeah, you could try to do that as well. The Call by the Grave definitely could help, but for the Droplets, there's actually ways to play around the Droplets. If you go ahead and use the Fog Blade on like a monster, you can go ahead and use...
It activates again.
Yeah, you can go ahead and try and, like, chain the Rusty... Well, you use the Rusty Bardiche to trigger it first, and then you use the DPE as, like, a Droplets failsafe. So basically, you would summon the Break Sword from the graveyard, and then the Break Sword with the Fog Blade, or not without the Fog Blade, but the trap card, the other trap card that you pitch.
Yeah.
I don't remember its name. I think it's Wings or something like that.
I think it's Wings. It's the one that basically is a trigger, an effect that can activate during either turn.
Exactly, right. And then you would do that, and then when you do that, you would be able to summon the Break Sword to pop the Scythe without actually having to use the DPE. And then if they chain Droplets, you can chain a Fog Blade, and then, as long as they didn't set a trap for Droplets, right? But if they didn't set a trap for Droplets, you can chain the Fog Blade, and then you can chain the DPE to basically pop the... either the Rusty, not the Rusty, but the Rusty, or the Artifact Scythe, depending on which one they're trying to target with the Droplet Scythe, and that way you can play around it, because they can't target it anymore because it's in the graveyard.
Oh, yeah.
Which is broken. Broken.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Full of those combos that just create either an endless loop, or this combo to negate all your effects, lock you out of the game, or, notorious FTKs before all the FTK enablers were mostly banned. There's still a couple around, but typically hand traps have now balanced that out, so at least we don't have to worry about it as much. I think the best one still recently is Rocket.
Yeah, that was the last competitive FTK. There's like a Dino FTK that's running around right now. But it's not seen any like real competitive success. Only on like Dueling Book Ladder has it seen any success.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's actually pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I think it's pretty cool as well.
It has been. Now, one thing is, how did the streaming with Yu-Gi-Oh! Have impact your schedule?
Well, I am very stream where I want type of streamer, which isn't good, by the way. I wouldn't recommend it. I think that if you're going to be a streamer, definitely pick a schedule and just do it then. But I stream mostly for fun. The success that came along with it was just kind of a bonus for me. But for the most part, I would just stream whenever I felt like I wanted to, which is usually like after work, when I was just not doing anything else, or if I was playing the game. Because if I was playing the game, I might as well stream, right?
Yeah, because that's what I say is if you're doing something that's related to the stream content, do it because you don't know what the reaction would be until people see it.
Exactly.
It's like the camera always rolling. You might miss something.
Exactly.
If you don't get it on film, how can you say it happened if you can't document it?
Right.
So, what's a funny moment that you had on stream that you were so lucky to get captured on stream?
What's a funny moment? That's a hard one. I think it's not one that I can really think of right now. That's like a funny moment.
It can be ironic too.
Yeah, I got one. So there was this one time when I was playing unrated, right? And a person that I knew that I've played in events before, he ended up running into me in the rated ladder, right? And he goes and he turns on my stream to see what I'm playing. and I was playing like some jank like Mystic Mind deck, and I was upset about it at the time because like stream sniping is not something that I enjoy. It makes it harder for me to play the game fairly, right? But after the fact, it was funny. And he ends up stream sniping me, and he ends up winning because of it. And I get mad. So I get up and I toss my keyboard, and I had just gotten a coffee, and I knocked over my coffee and it spilled on my tower, and I short circuited my house and had to buy a whole new computer. It was terrible, but it was funny.
Whoa!
Yeah, it was tough.
Well, that's another example of cause and effect. This can happen to this, to this. If you didn't see my stream, I wouldn't have reacted. If my coffee didn't spill and my entire house is short-circuited, oh my god.
Yeah, it was tough. I had to mess around with the breaker for a while and figure out what was going on with it. I mean, I only just ended up having to unplug the computer because I was causing the short, right? But it was something.
Usually the coffee doesn't cause a short in the entire house. Usually it just mess up the computer.
Right. Well, it hit the power supply, and then the power supply hit the cords, and the cords went to the I couldn't tell you what exactly. I'm not an electrician, so I don't know what happened with that.
It hit the grid, and then it hit the main grid too.
Yep. Tough.
If you have this room and it has all these cords connected, well, this room is now connected to this, and then bam, the main circuit breaker.
Yep, exactly.
Oh gosh, that is so unrated. Do you do that as much, or you still do that?
Nah, you're saying do I rage it? I try not to as much anymore, but I do play rated dueling books sometimes. I haven't played it in this format though. This format's really it's not a very good format in my opinion. Like I said, side block and skill drain, flunderies, that's basically the meta right now, and all of those decks are just really unfun to play against. So currently I'm just focused on Master Duel, but I probably will play a little bit of rated at some point.
Yeah, I don't know. Skill Train Coming 3 was so peculiar. It's like, if you ban Imperial Order and you allow Skill Drain, so what?
Yeah.
2 floodgates is better because you unlock 1 floodgate? What?
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting choice for them to make that for sure.
I guess Skill Drain is playable. It just makes, True Break go. You get a little bit more boost. Eldritch making the main deck for it. Basically, what Skill Drain enables is no effects on the field and just beat down strategy all the way.
Yeah, pretty much. Especially with like the Elblick deck. The Elblick deck is very, very good at abusing.
A lot of times, skill drain only affects the field, so anything that activates in the grave or hand can still trigger and get all those effects. Even pivoting effects, I believe.
Mm-hmm. And that's why Prankins is a pretty good deck right now, is because they have triple skill drain, and they also can play the Brave Token engine, which is also another really strong thing that every deck is pretty much running right now, which is crazy.
Yeah, I don't know, I think Adventure is like an equalizer kind of thing. It's a neat concept. It basically still enables 10-card engine or 7-card engine, so you can still kind of brick, but it's not terrible with the synergy you can get with a lot of decks and the extra negate.
Yep. Well, that's like the whole reason.
Really good.
Yeah, that's like the whole reason they're playing it right now too. Is just because it's a negate that you can make before you start comboing off. So the big one, the big abuser right now is the Phantom Knight engine, right? The one that we were talking about earlier. They essentially use the Adventure token to make it so that they have a negate on board. Also, it has like a level 3 engine as well, which is it's pretty strong.
Yeah, I think when it first hit the market, it was super expensive for the pre-order, but it's still up there in price. It's still expensive. So, what was probably your favorite format?
My favorite format? Ooh, that's a tough one. I think it's probably one of the first formats that I played, and I really, really liked the grass format when it was like the first grass format. I think my favorite format was probably the first Zodiac format, like True Draco, Zodiac, and this was before True Draco was like running floodgates and stuff. It was just mainly Masterpiece Turbo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was actually a skillful True Draco, in my opinion, compared to what it is now. But like Zodiac, True Draco, Zodiac, Invoked, Windwitch artifact was cool too.
Yep.
There was a lot of cool decks back then.
And the decks. I still feel like that Zodiac format wasn't like it's broken because you do all these combos and you get all these free pluses, but like Zodiac is a 1-card XYZ. You can spam a bunch of summons. You can literally summon a card like Mechaclops Infinite Track that requires 3 XYZ monsters, specifically using a Rapier or Thoroughblade to send Ram to the graveyard to enable that combo. But that's just one combo, but the main combo that it used was the Justo Emerald, get into like the Brilliant Fusion deck to get another combo, send Trick Clown, get another, you just keep getting free plus and advantage. That's why it was so infamous, because it was so easy to make. One normal summon got you the entire combo sometimes. And you have, all the searching. Tinny, Bioformation, and the Barrage. You can't really ask. And Rapier being actually semi-broken card that just by itself enabled free summons from the deck by detaching itself. I don't know, I love Zodiac. What do you think?
I think Zodiac was I think back then anyway, before like Link format, it was super fun and skillful. Now it's kind of like, especially with Zeus being out.
Yeah, but hitting Trident and Barrage did limit the deck a little bit more. Because now they don't have that as easily to summon a 4-mat Zeus.
Yeah, they're pretty much out of the meta because of that, which is super, I think it's healthy. I think Trident not having that special summon from the deck was very strong. I mean, it's still a playable deck for sure. You can definitely just go second with Zodiac and just play Z's Turbo, but it's not what it used to be.
Oh yeah, because you still, if any negate to not attack, or if you don't have all monsters in defense, you can't attack directly or attack a monster in defense to get Zeus. So, and also the deck is super weak now because they mostly only have a normal summon to follow up with. Normal summons are pretty easy to deal with, especially back row removal, destroying cards in the field, and Solemns. Solemns are pretty good too.
Yep, there's just a lot of removal options for it. It can still be pretty strong into certain boards. Like a lot of negate boards won't actually have anything to bounce. Most do, but some don't, depending on what combo deck they're playing. And those decks have struggle versus Zeus and stuff like that. But besides that, I mean, it's manageable.
It was fun to play, But I don't know. Zeus is one of those cards. There's only two monsters that I think. The first prototype Zeus I think of is Evil Swarm Zapper Knight. You have to manipulate the cards in your hand and the cards on the field to basically destroy all cards on all monsters on the field, I believe. No, all cards on the field.
Yeah, X-Knight was definitely a lot more skillful than Zeus. You definitely had to make the board state in your favor to make it. You wouldn't be able to just slap it on the field like you could with Zeus.
And then people when it first came out, they had to consider what they put on the field and the card advantage they had too. Because if they enable that, their entire field gets nuked for free if they wasn't careful.
Yeah.
So it basically affects the game in a way that you had to look out for it. Now it's not as common, so people don't look out for it. But the two cards they look out now for is Nibiru, the Primal Being, and Impermanence. Those are the two cards that still highly play that still affect the game in different ways. What do you think about the game impacting effects of those two cards?
I think that Nibiru for sure definitely is super, super strong. I think that right now, the reason why Phantom X is doing so well right now is because they now have a playthrough through Nibiru, which just shows you how powerful of a card Nibiru actually is if that's something that, would work the format like that, right? Which is super strong. And yeah, I definitely agree.
And, Imperm is interesting because it's another thing that dodges, typical talents, and it's not activation, so Carbon Grave doesn't activate. But also zone placement. If you put a certain card in a column, and that can punish you depending on how it's used and if you play the same card in that column as Imperm.
Yeah, exactly. I think that you definitely have to make sure that you watch your columns in today's YGO, not just for Imperm, but for stuff like Mech Knights that somebody might randomly be playing against you.
And Mech popular, Crusadia builds and all that, because it get free advantage by occupied zones with two or more cards in it.
Yep. I think the pure Mech Knight build, the one that locks you out with the trap cards and stuff like that, that one's kind of popular. I know that there's some dedicated Mech Knight players that have been playing that in High Ladder. Who was it? Shannon. Shannon's a good example of that. But yeah, that's something that's somewhat popular.
Yeah, with Mech Knights, that's kind of interesting because it's if they get the full combo, they can basically almost not let you play the game because it negates I believe the activation.
Right, so it just negates the effect, but it negates the effect of a card that's in the zone. So if it's activated in the zone, it negates the effect right there. So if you were to, let's say, remove the card on the field, like a Pankratops or something, if it was still activated in the zone, it still gets negated. So it's like a weird. It's like the opposite of skill drain, right?
Yeah, skill drain, because at the resolution it checks as it's on the field, but Pankratops resolves in the grave, so I can still pop it. But the price of Origin with Mech Knights is that if it's any column, even if it's in the grave, it activated in that column.
Right.
I don't know. It's a hard. I've played against that deck with the full lockdown, and the only way you can outgrind them is try to break the board in a way that is meaningful, but that's still hard to do because they have battle protection.
Yep, exactly. And they're actually pretty consistent at getting their combo off. The only problem is the deck does kind of have to go second.
Yeah.
You don't have to go second, but it's a lot more beneficial if you do.
Yeah.
So if you want to make sure that you're playing that deck to the fullest potential, you have to build as a go second build. And going second right now is not very favored, just because of the way the game's in right now.
I believe it's Midnight Orcus. Some a bunch of tokens. That's like one thing they can go first with. That can set up plays.
Right, the gear suit. There is some other stuff that they can kind of do.
Yeah.
Normal summons like Sangan, some popular tech that people use. But the Orcus one's the favored normal summon for sure.
But I don't know. Orcus is throughout its history is a very splashable deck.
Mm-hmm.
And the main card that made it so splashable was Nightmare Mermaid.
Yeah, Nightmare Mermaid was pretty crazy when it was around. There was a lot of different Orcus decks. The main one that caught popularity was the Lunalight one. That's the one that was the mixed archetype one, and then there was the Sky Striker Orcus one, which was also super popular as well. And both of those decks were insane, to be honest.
Yeah, because they only needed 2-card combo to get access to that engine. And what the Orcus engine was, you could still manipulate, I think, Dark type to your advantage. Because you can do Star Striker first and then do Orcus. And you get the Star Striker combo first and then you have Orcus.
Yep, you just make sure that you do your Orcus stuff end up combo. That way you don't lock yourself, and then pretty much put it in any deck.
Attribute, all that stuff.
Yep, any 2 monsters was full Orcus combo, and that was pretty strong.
I did. I like doing an interesting tech with Orcus when I did the combo. I would end on Rusty, and then get access to the rank up magic spell. And have Babel on the field, and then I'll be able to get Sending to Grave plus a pop, and then I go into VFD with the rank up magic I searched from Rusty.
Yeah, I did that as well. That was something that I used to do, because I play a little bit of TCG/OCG, right, just to prep myself for new cards that are coming out. And back when Orcus was announced, I used to do that a lot, for sure, with the rank up spell. And that was pretty fun. It's a shame that we never really saw the light of day of it, but when we did later, but then it was kind of too late because we've already got the banned Heart Horror and stuff like that.
Yeah, that Heart Horror ban kind of made it inconsistent, and then when it came back, it wasn't relevant and it got banned again.
Yep.
And Heart Horror is pretty strong because it's just a free special summon that enables the entire combo, the 1-card combo.
Yep, exactly.
That also brings back that weird format ABC was banned, then Toad was banned, and it was limited. Those cards are not as busted now, but in the control setting they were in, they gave free advantage for free.
Yep, yes they do. There's been a lot of formats like that to where there's actually a lot of cards on the ban list that could probably come off.
Oh yeah.
But
it's too high.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is, Konami likes to slowly release cards off the ban list. If it's still
Yeah, they just want to play safe. They want to make sure that they don't put anything way too format breaking. They say that, but then they put like skill drain to 3, right? So who knows?
At least with skill drain, it makes you now have to main deck back row removal. Cosmic Cyclone, Twin Twisters, Feather Storm, Lightning Storm, stuff like that. Feathers Duster.
Yeah, probably Cosmic Cyclone because it does get rid of the
format plays.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people, you should at least main deck 2 or 3 backward move that you can just is chainable or you can activate for free with no cost or little maintenance costs on it because backward is still relevant.
Yep, you want to probably main Cosmic Cyclone so that way you can hit the artifact scythe as well in the PK matchup. It's pretty good. Also, it's good versus like Brave tokens. If you're already going to break the board or going first against Brave tokens, it's pretty good. So stuff like that as well.
Yeah, and Cosmic Cyclone's good because even though it's negative? 1,000 life points you pay. It's a 1-for-1 card advantage, but things like to trigger in the graveyard, so banishing is actually a lot better in that scenario.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially cards like the Outlet cards, right? The Outlet cards are super prominent right now.
Because then they have no follow-up, and they have to, if they draw it again, they have to waste another turn. So there's ways to play around it, and also, it's, with that, this continuous trap, they don't get the access to it either, the popping, because it doesn't resolve. Basically,
exactly.
It was a better MST.
Yeah, definitely.
Space Typhoon was meta because that was the only board breaker at that time.
Right.
It was like the only one that was like quick play that you can chain for free for the longest time until we... was it Twin Twisters or Cosmic... No, Twin Twisters came in, and it kind of changed up the game a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
Which, hey, targeting up to 2 in the field and have a discard was annotations for graveyard effects.
Uh-huh.
But also, some combo decks needed that extra card, so, it's an argument to say if it's good or bad, because it's plus... It's still card neutral, actually. You use 2 cards to get rid of 2 cards.
Yep, exactly. It definitely evens out, but, I mean, the discard, depending on what your deck is, even if it goes neutral, it may not be the most advantageous for you. You might offer something like a Lightning Storm or a Harpy's Feather Duster or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I think the main 2 backward move that you can put in your side deck that breaks the format pretty well. It's evenly matched. Droplets, Dark Balloon, or more, depending on the matchups and the meta. And Lightning Storm.
Yeah, evenly's pretty strong.
And then the evenly gets around any effect on the field, doesn't matter. It affects the player. Baits out negate. If it gets negated, you can activate it again, depending if you draw 2.
Yep, exactly. And the amount of value that it brings is pretty strong. Like, they have to keep 1 card, but that's usually not that big of a deal.
And this format there's not many Omni Negates. There might be 1 Omni Negate, which is a Brave token. Or
yeah, it's usually just the Brave token, and you can usually bait that out.
So, I mean, you get free access to it to remove this stuff from the field and then play during main phase 2. I mean, it's still steep to have your battle phase, but like the huge advantage that shifts in the game, especially against heavy back row decks. Not so much like big combo decks, because it still affects them. But back row decks have a very hard time against evenly matched.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then you can just set up like it's your turn. You only have to deal with 1 interaction, whatever they say, right?
Yeah. It's not enough to stop you, everything at once. Was there a particular time that you feel was very impactful as a streamer that you felt like you mattered for something at one moment?
Not so much that I mattered. Like I said, streaming thing very casually. I do have a pretty good following.
Yeah.
But as far as it's a very for fun thing. I guess like the coolest thing that I have is that I definitely impacted a fan once before, and he was just having like a really, really bad day, and I cheered him up, distracted him, and he told me that it was really something that he looked forward to watch, and I thought that was pretty cool. And he was having like a depressing time or whatever, and yeah, it was a pretty cool thing to hear.
In all of the decks we discussed, which one do you feel is like the best strategy or the best meta call?
The best meta call right now? So if you're playing in current TCG format, I would say probably Flunderies is probably the best deck right now. For the best meta call, I wouldn't say it's the best deck. I think the best deck is definitely Phantom Knight, Brave Token. But if you're trying to play like a extra or like a sleeper pick, I would definitely go for like Flunderies right now. They're very, very strong into combo boards, and they are pretty strong into a lot of like the back row decks right now as well. And they got new support, which is super good. And after the new support, I think they're definitely a lot stronger than they were last format for sure. For Master Duel, that's hard to say. I mean, you can just kind of play whatever you want in Master Duel. There's a lot of insane broken decks. I think the best one is probably Zodiac, just because it can go second and first pretty well. But, I mean, that's up for the debate, right?
I know. I still liked having 3 miscellaneous swords. Bring back True King Dino.
Yeah, I have a Master Duel deck that plays VFD. It's like the old Synchro outlet combo, but you put it in Dinos, and then you can make it with, you can put a Dagda on the field before you actually commit to your Needle Fiber plays, and it's pretty strong, because you make VFD.
Yeah. I don't know. True King Calamities. Like, when it first came out, 2 level 9, that's hard to make. But we realized how easy level 9 is to spam and make a deck dedicated to that. And locking out of monster cards is still very strong, and not be able to attack.
Yeah, it's the original Mystic Mine before Mystic Mine was made, right?
The one thing I don't understand is they made a card like Shockmaster. Shockmaster got banned way before VFD did. But VFD became a lot, like 2 or 3 years later. And they didn't realize that's still very powerful to shut down one mechanic.
Yeah, card design, they're not very smart with their card design, sometimes. It just is what it is.
You have Zexal, VFD, and Shockmaster, all with similar effects.
Yep, and Mystic Mine, to be honest, it's basically the same thing, except for a spell card.
Mine. Oh, gosh. Mystic Mine is literally the reason why I main deck with me, just because of that one card. They bait it out with one negation, and if I don't have another negate or way to destroy it, I'm screwed. Because then you have to wait for that out, Lightning Storm ain't going to really help you much, because you have to sacrifice your face downs. So that's not great. And maybe if you don't have the out, you're just waiting for the opponent to out it. Not everyone can do that.
It's definitely very strong for sure.
Like, the only way they are out is they know they have combo to win the game. Or they play multiple copies to play around it. Or multiple field spells.
Yep. The pure Mystic Mind deck isn't too good right now just because of the Eldlik decks that are running around, and Eldlik is a very good counter to Mystic Mind just because of the send from hand to the graveyard just to get rid of Mystic Mind. You can do that, and then of course the Conquistadors as well. Makes it really easy out.
You go first, guess what? Field Barrier, Mystic Mind, full combo. And then they said from hand because you have no monsters, and you're locked out of any other activation of field of Mystic Mind because of how Field Barrier works.
Yep, I'd say that it's a sad story, but you're a Mystic Mind player, so who cares? It's tough.
Oh, I hate that bouncing to the hand. Or even Cosmic Cyclone's the worst, too.
There was a PPG that I played. It was back when I was playing the Zexal Guru list, and I ended up playing versus Jeff Lenard. And I beat him, but it was the funniest match ever because it was Zexal versus Mystic Mind. So I won because I won that roll, but I literally just made Zexal. He had to scoop. He Mystic Mind me. I had to scoop. Zexal game 3. He had to scoop, and that was the game. It was really funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So what innovation of Mystic Mind do you think was like the niche spicy tech for the deck? There's different variations of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the best one is obviously, like, if it's the pure Mystic Mind decks, I think that it's probably the Burn deck, but there's a lot of cool different, like, Mystic Mind stuff that people have played, like there's the Exodia one. Honestly, there's, like, the Cricket Cook thing or whatever, that's, like, the new Mystic Mind, which is super funny.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that one's pretty interesting for sure.
Okay, I love Cricket Cook just with the simple fact that it enables Exodia so easily.
Oh, yeah.
You can't do damage unless you attack directly, piercing damage, or I play into some back row that's able to negate my quick effect to destroy my cards on the field.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
That's the only way to defeat it, or Kaiju. Or they don't care about attacking, they just burn you. And that's also a thing.
Mm-hmm. There might actually be, like, some meta relevance to Cricket Cook right now, because the reason that you didn't play it before was because you were worried that something like the Bird deck was really popular last format, right?
Yeah.
Before it got banned. And that deck could just kill you by attacking directly. But right now, there's not a whole lot of decks that can actually do anything like that. It's literally just prank kids that can burn you, and that's it. So it might actually have some relevance.
You have, like... I really don't see prank kids burning as much. Like, they have 3 activations of the fire, and then they redo it again, but, like... Realistically, how can prank kids burn you just for the game?
Well, the way that they do it is that there's the continuous spell that shuffles back in cards from your graveyard to your deck, and like a good prank kids player, somebody who's played the deck consistently will just end up resorting to that.
Same Meow and the fire extensions to draw.
Right, yeah, so you would just go ahead and shuffle back in the Meow and the fires to make sure that you basically just infinitely burn them.
Just so slow. Oh my gosh. I don't know, it's kind of interesting how people say, yeah, okay, you can sit on that monster, whatever.
Yeah. I think it actually has some relevance right now. I think that there's not a whole lot of decks that out it. You'd have to run kaijus for it, and there's not a whole lot of people running kaijus for it, to be honest. And you can just like run your own kaijus in your deck, some board break stuff, and hand traps to make sure that you know, you can still kind of play the game, even when you have Cricket Cook on the field.
Look how bad Lava Golem was, and people still played it.
Yeah, exactly.
You locked out your normal summon, which a lot of decks like. Very few, you know. Oh gosh. I still remember 3 tributes for Sphere Mode Raw. Oh gosh. I played Lava Golem and Sphere Mode.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you break the board. Can I recover from this? Oh no. Which sometimes you can't, depending on if you set up that board trying to win the game and you just can't.
Yep, depends on your hand.
Oh man. It's kind of interesting. Board breakers was really relevant. Hand traps were very relevant. But going first but going second is also an option too. I like the master chain of you don't go first and going first, so that's great. You don't get that extra card advantage when it's so advantageous anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, it's crazy how much Yu-Gi-Oh! Has changed over the years as well. I think Link format definitely broke the game a little bit for sure.
I don't know. I think Link format, kind of balanced it with, the extra monster zone, nerfed pendulums, I'm sorry, except for Electromite. That just put them back on the metal.
Yeah, they became one of the best decks just because of one card, which is crazy.
Plush Fire, Sorcerer, Monkey Board, Electromite, Sky Ice Magician, and then also Kyrion. All these different pendulum busted cards just was on the ban list because of how pendulums kept making a comeback, even in Link Master War 4. And also, I think Links are really easy to make, so they gave these decks that couldn't make XYZ or Synchro or Fusion a really easy toolbox for that specific monsters.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that, at first, Links were pretty much unplayable besides, Firewall, right? And then, as soon as people started, getting the hang of it,
yeah, I wish, when they introduced it, they shouldn't have, so bad of links.
Right.
You should have, decent links to use, and not wait, 3 to 4 sets after to get really busted links.
Yeah, definitely.
Play it now because I can't play this, incentivize to play the links because my deck requires it because of the extra monster zone markers. But I like Master War 5. Links are still balanced and pendulums are still not as busted as Master War 3.
Yep.
Summon 3 to 4 cards every single turn, and you get so much plus just by 2 skills. If you summon 3, you get +1. If you summon 5, you still get +3 just by summoning, and then you get searching effects based on being pendulum summoned.
Yeah, it's pretty absurd sometimes.
Oh gosh. But yeah, what is one thing you want people to take from this with streaming in Yu-Gi-Oh! As a way to, speak to the audience?
Sure. So what I would recommend is if you're going to start streaming, definitely take it more of a fun thing that you're just doing as a side thing. It's a lot more fun that way. You want to enjoy what you do. And, I hope that this gave you guys some insight into the competitive scene of Yu-Gi-Oh!
And with that, in conclusion, we established certain formats, why it became broken, different card designs and how they work. Overall, there's so much more to Yu-Gi-Oh! Than what we covered. We can talk for hours about it.
Yeah, definitely.
And we can only have a 5-hour webinar, and you still don't get all the information.
Yeah, it's a very complicated game, but it's fun.
10,000 cards plus. There you go.
Yep.
Those set rotations, so every card's legal until it gets banned.
Right.
But yeah, that's the conclusion of this episode. Thank you for attending, and hopefully this is impactful in any sense of either Yu-Gi-Oh! Streaming or even a media personality like Xilenced.
Yep, you guys have a great rest of your evening.
Enjoy.
This concludes another episode of MC Anime Podcast. MC Anime Podcast is available on podcast directories like Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. We also have our website at mcanimepodcast.com. If you want to directly support us, then follow Patreon blog MC Anime. Finally, if you want services for hire, then we're available on Fiverr for audio and video production, graphic design, idea consulting, and blog and article writing.